What up, Killian?
What's up?
How you doing?
Ready?
You ready to rip it today? Hey, what do you think about us trying to learn some 50-50 axle stalls?
Okay.
Yeah, I've had a few subscribers ask me for some advice or how long it took, blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking maybe I'll do 5 minutes of video footage kind of showing the way I would teach somebody how to do it, the steps. And maybe I can walk you through it. The subscriber's name was Shortboarder. I said he'd been back into skateboarding for about 3 years now. He's in his 50s. I think he said 51. And I'm going to see if I can maybe show him the way I look at progressing towards the backside axle stall. I know Bobby Parsons working on it. I know there's a couple other of you guys working on it, and there's probably 100 more that I don't know of. So I think would be a really well-placed video to happen today. There's a high possibility that the other OGs in this town show up. If there is, the whole game plan's gonna change. I'm gonna skate and I'm gonna try to rip it up. A lot of those dudes inspire me. They get me to try a little harder, which is really good for me. So here's my first step, I think. If you're an older dude or you're a kid, I guess anyone wanting to learn 50-50 stall, this is how I teach somebody to do it. If I'm trying to help a buddy get it, I think it's the safest approach. So whether you drop in or you roll in, I think the more speed makes it a little easier, but I'll just show you. So I think this would be step one. Jump out, right? You're gonna take your back foot off. You're gonna get your front foot on the board. You're gonna deck it. You're gonna take your back foot off. You're gonna be on the deck. So I think first step, guys, let's try to just deck the board. So, and I'm gonna progressively do a little better at it. Okay, that time, try to get a good pump, and I'm trying to turn toward like my backside to like a 10 degree, 45 degree. All right, so that may be a start. So what I would tell Killian in that case is, okay, progressively speaking, he got himself out of the bowl, he got his board out of the bowl. Now what you want to try to do, son, is keep your front foot on your board, take your back foot off and step up on the deck. So drop in, like that. Your board gets up, you get out of the bowl, everything's out of the bowl. So you're conditioning yourself now to be in the bowl and pop out of the bowl. Okay, let's go around and try it again. Then I think you want to do that a whole bunch. And then what you want to try to do is try to stay on your board. And I don't even think you need to turn yet, but you really need to give a good pump, a good jump at the bottom of the transition as you're approaching it helps you get up. And like speed is your friend. Speed is your friend in everything on most of these tricks. So what I did there was just go faster, get a bigger jump at the bottom, lift my knees high, and try to get my back wheels to clear the coping. Didn't quite do it. It might take a little bit to commit, but the good news is this. When you start to do a backside turn, you don't need to clear the coping, so you're not worried about hanging up. So I think in between that stage of trying to straight up roll out and then starting to incorporate the turn makes it easier. To roll straight up out of this bowl, perpendicular to the coping, that's a difficult move. But when you start to turn, when you start to do this over the top of the coping, it begins to be a lot easier. Let me just see if I can roll straight in and go up over the coping. So if you got the ollie, it really feels like an ollie. Now I'm not snapping my tail, I'm just getting my feet up, lifting the board up and over the coping, but I'm able to do it totally perpendicular to the direction of the pipe. All right, Killian. Try to take your back foot off, keep your front foot on, and just plant it on the coping. See if you can do that. No matter what, be safe though. If you need to do what you've been doing, just do what you've been doing. Hey, that was good. You put your foot down? No, that was perfect. Perfect progression. You were able to put your foot down. See that, guys? He put his foot down on the deck. So this is a way of baby stepping into it for him. Now if he can wait a little longer, he can take his back foot off. He can place it on the deck. So once you get to that point, then what you want to do is start trying to turn. So I'm going to still try to get my weight out of the bowl, but I want to start just turning just a little bit. So down. I'm nowhere near ready to stall, but I easily got up and over the coping and onto the deck. That to me is the first step to learning 50-50 axle stall. That's exactly what I did. I came out here, it probably took me a good couple of months doing this, back and forth. That's when I met Barry. That's all I did. And he'll tell you, he was like, dude, why don't you do anything else? But I got it and I learned it pretty quick because I was focused. Okay, let's see. See if you can take your foot off and step on the deck this time. Your back foot. Keep your front foot on. There you go. Yes! Dude, look at that. Perfect, buddy. So now I'm going to try to go again. This time I'm going to turn a little more and I'm going to turn it toward the coping. And you know what? Maybe I'll try to come over there more where the camera is. So it's simple. When you roll in and you try to go over the coping, it like takes a pretty big oomph, right? You got to really get into it. But when you get in and you turn to land here, or say you're regular footed and you come up and you just can get here and you're safe. You have nothing to be afraid of. And it's the fear that's making it hard for you guys to learn this. So don't try to stall it yet. Don't try to stall it here, because that's not really doing it right. You need to be decked. So what you want to do is come up and just get over onto the deck and roll away from it. And start by just trying to launch yourself. I'm going to do this front side. It's the same deal. Come up. That's all I'm saying. If you can turn, you're going to be turning backside. But if you can just turn and roll up and over that coping up on top of the deck, that's what it takes right there. Look, I'll show you again. Pretend I'm going backside, okay? I'm going to turn the way you like to turn, but you're just going to go that way, okay? Big pump and up. You got to be comfortable with decking your board. Okay, let's try it. Let's try it. If you want, I can stand over there and grab your hand and help you come up. I don't think you need to, though. I think you can get it. So as you get this maneuver, guys, you just start to focus more on your back truck hitting the coping, getting your rear end, your shoulders, your head up. So you got to really throw yourself into that motion. And it seems exaggerated when you're learning it. You got to really try to do it. But then you're going to want to turn more and more. So let me show you a couple. Okay, so you get on the deck. I'm just going to do an axle stall on this side so I don't have to keep walking around. Same deal. Just come down. Okay, so say your wheel's out and you get up here, you can just get it back on, tap, 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 get axle stalled. And it's probably a good idea to learn this first. If you learn the axle stall and the drop in first, Barry has learned that. He hasn't learned how to do the axle stall yet, but he's learned to do the axle drop. And I think in a lot of ways that's a good idea. If you want to practice the deck and maybe you want to practice the end, divide the two, but maybe not try to work them in together until you've learned them each singly. Okay, so I hope this is making some sense. So it's really simple. Try to get on top of the deck. Try to start to turn toward your backside just a little. See if you can get your truck out. So you're gonna sort of go up, pivot on your truck. Let me get my board. Come on. You want to do it? Or are you afraid? No, you don't want to try it. So at first, come up, just get on the deck. Or come up, keep your front foot on, take off your back foot, and stand on the deck. And then, roll away from it, and then roll away from it some more. You don't want to focus too much on the roll away. You want to make sure you're coming up straight. If you start to angle at the top, then your roll away speed is going to be too much. And on axle stall, you don't want that. You almost come up and turn because you want to stop. And you know, the safety in this trick is getting your truck on the coping. Once your truck hits the coping and you can sort of pivot your weight on it, it's a beautiful thing. And the other thing is this too. Don't bonk your front wheels. Get your front wheels over the coping. And then when your back wheel's about to hit right at the top, you just turn and stand on it. But like I said, if you're front side or if you're regular foot, don't try to hit here. Just try to hit here. Try to hit here and put your other foot down. That's how you progress at the backside axle stall. So there it is. Over 40, or for that matter, any age, that's the way I like to teach it to somebody. Take your time, do it slow. You know, I think learn to launch out a little bit first, be safe, 45 degree it, get on your feet, and then gradually start to get closer and closer. Try to get your back truck on like a feeble. Don't come back in. And then a little more, and then a little more, until you hit the coping on your front. At the same time, get up on the skateboard. I like this, but if you want to kick it in for your drop in, go ahead. But just axle stall, learn the drop in separately. If you get the axle stall drop in, then you don't have to worry about both. You can learn those separately. All right, so good luck. Let me know if it works. And for shortboarder, thanks for the comment. I'd love to help if I can, guys. I'm just not that great at some of it, but at some of it, I'm decent. All right. Good. See that? You're getting more speed, and your board's even catching a little air. So that means that you just go a little harder, and you can probably keep your back foot on your board. Obviously you're going backside, but if you turn while you're doing it, it's really easy to just stay on and ride right out. Big pump. Yeah. You think you can turn a little more? Like instead of going totally straight, if you were able to... Thank you, Jesus!